It is Inspiration 92.3 FM, your number one family radio. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you? How's your day going? How is your week started out? I hope good. I mean, I was here yesterday. I'm sounding like an absolute stranger. Okay, so it's time for sharing life issues, and it's brought to you by MTN. Okay, EVB is here. You know that always puts a smile on my face. Every time EVB shows up for us, we're like, very excited. Thank you so much for making it to the studio, EVB. We appreciate you. Thank
you so much, Chioma.
We don't take it for granted knowing that you could be anywhere else.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is tuned in. 92.3 is the dial. If you're listening via the radio, I say welcome. We are happy to have you. And if you are listening or watching us from the website, it's www.ifm923.com. That is www.ifm923.com. I would say welcome to you as well. If you are on Instagram Live, let me tell you the truth. You're so far away from me and I'm still trying to connect it here, so I can't see your names. So let me not call anybody's names because I saw one or two, but let me not go by myself. Hi, what's up? I'm really very excited. Even if I don't have enough energy, my energy is boosted just knowing that EVB is coming.
Okay.
Because he always comes with fire.
I just can't be me. And I just hope everybody's fine despite the O trek and all the O's. That's not a good one.
I should say O.
All the O's, O trek, O os, O leg.
Look, it is well. We will all get better.
We'll get by. Yeah.
We'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so into the matter of the day. Today we are looking at something pretty vital. We are continuing from our series that we started out. We've been talking about the intimate or important questions to ask before you say I do.
Or maybe better put, intimate discussion.
Conversations to have. There we go.
Before you say I do, because it's a new year, so it's not just about having fun and just going around and just it might be a good time to sit down after 4 years, 5 years, to start asking questions where this is going and to talk about the foundation of what we're doing exactly. And the good thing I loved about this series is people have been calling in, people already married, to either say I wish I had this before I got married, I would have asked the question, or I asked the question and it helped, or somebody would say I did not ask the question and these were the effects of it. And I think generally we've talked about much more general things in the last 2 episodes, and this time around we're just, which obviously will be the last in the series, we will now want to talk about deep things. Deep thing. I think so, so it doesn't get too boring too.
No, listen, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not saying any, but look, I promise you I'll tell you when it's boring. I have a very short attention span and I have ADHD, so I always tell people I know it gets boring. But today we're going to be talking about these intimate questions or conversations from the angle of confessions,
deep things, very, very deep things. For example, rape, abortion, incest,
yes,
revelations about that can affect intimacy. For example, FGM.
What is FGM? What? Female gender mutilation. Don't mind me, my brain is not putting well.
No, that's fine, because those are the kind of things that people need to talk about, particularly since we also assume it's not everybody that is fishing around. A lot of people, once they know who they want to marry, they just want to go straight to the point. But it's also nice for them to know things like that, because these are not things that you see on people's face. A lot of people are smiling, but they have issues that they have not really, overcome. So these are the things I think we should talk about. Then we also look at it from the perspective of, when do you talk about these things? How much should I tell?
Yeah.
What if it backfires in the definition of what if the guy says or she says she's not doing, or she just changes or blocks you on the phone? How should I tell? How should you tell? Which is also very important. How do I receive? And what also if you ask and you don't get an answer, what do you do? Then even after you've asked and you get an answer, what next? So these are all the kind of things that I'm looking forward to, and I hope that people will participate to help us. And if you're particularly single and you're close to it, and you have questions specific questions to help us about how you want to navigate, that might help. Yes, share with us. That might help the discussion.
So remember, I'm going to put out the WhatsApp number first of all. The WhatsApp number is 0817 313 6193. The number again on WhatsApp is 0817 313 6193. I'll put out the phone numbers when we establish our conversation a little more.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's because, you know, we can see your message and start with your messages. Before we left on Tuesday last week, someone actually sent a message and said we didn't talk much about abortion, about rape, about things like that. And so we decided that that's where we're going to be starting from today. So that's where we're going to be starting from today.
Yeah.
I'm going to just leave this to you, EVB, because this is your expertise. Yeah. I'm just a rookie trying to learn. So where do we begin?
I think generally I just want to lay some ground rules. The generic question. I won't deal with specific. I'll just deal with the generic questions and my thought line. Like I said, nothing is cast in stone. We can always learn from one another. The first question that people usually tend to ask about this thing, how much should I tell? How much should I tell?
How much should I tell?
How much should I tell? I think the rule of thumb is you want to say enough to the level that whatever is left that you have not said is not big or huge or powerful enough to cause a disruption if your spouse knows after marriage.
If you say it again.
What I'm saying is you tell enough, as sincere and as honest as you can, to the level whereby if it's only 0% of it that must not be told, 0, for your spouse to be confident that there is nothing to hear, then that means you have to do 100%. But if saying 80% about it is enough, you understand, to get going, and that if the guy even hears the remaining 20%, I'll give you an example. There was a time I had a very big issue with a lot of my staffs. It was a big crisis, way back, and what happened was, because of that, I had to ask a lot of people to go and leave. But there was one particular guy, everybody was wondering why I did not fire him. And do you know why? Immediately I started the investigation, the guy came to my office, knocked the door, and he came inside. And he told me everything he has done, even before I started going too far with the investigation. So I'm like, okay, this one has owned up. I forgave him. I didn't tell him. I forgave him right there and there, and I let go. So most of the other people that made me work for 2-3 weeks to investigate their theft and their misdemeanors, I fired them. And so later they started using unknown numbers to leak some of the stuff that this guy had done.
That you were already aware of.
And I'll just reply them that I know. And we've seen a lot of relationships whereby people out of vendetta, maybe an ex, not even an ex that still has a current status as at the time she was getting married, will now go and find a way to leak something. And if the guy already knows, if she already knows, there won't be issues. But if he or she does not know, it can really be a deal breaker. So I think you want to tell as much as you need to tell, such that if any further thing is hard, it won't be a big deal.
So there are different types of confessions.
Yeah.
There are issues of, I did this with my ex. I had this sort of a relationship. But I feel like with things like abortions or rape or incest, they're like a different ball game.
Yeah.
I want us to come to those because those are very like nitty gritty and very peculiar issues.
And you see the reason why, whichever way, because I know some people now will be feeling that why do I have to tell someone that I aborted?
Yes.
Why do I have to tell someone I was raped? You see, sometimes we think we've moved on some issues, but we've not. We've seen the example. We've seen it recently on social media. Somebody going to bring out something that happened 10, 15 years ago. I'm talking about the fact that for the first 10 years of my marriage, I could not adjust. So you will just bring in this guy, you bring in this woman. Like the last time, I gave the example of a guy that the brother and the sister-in-law, the senior brother and the wife, were making sure that he was the one that was playing the husband duties in the bedroom so that the guy could father a baby because the guy couldn't father a baby. Yeah. And he messed up the guy. He messed him up. So that kind of thing. He has to speak
to his intended wife.
He has to. Wow. He has to let them understand what is happening. I'm not saying these things are easy, but you see, the problem is we've seen so many times that people does not say they do not speak, and it becomes an issue for years. And that guy will just be wondering, or she will be wondering what the issues are.
Official Workaholic says full disclosure isn't easy to execute, but it's usually for the best because the slightest detail may cause major hurt in the future. I want to take a quick commercial break. Remember, the show is brought to you by MTN. When we come back from the break, we're going to start touching on very sensitive stuff. Stay put.
Yaba, one seat, Yaba.
Sweet granuts, buy your granuts, buy your sweet granuts.
Granot.
How much for one konko?
100 naira.
Oh yeah, give me 100 naira on. Add 888 join.
Customer, you sure say if you finish this 888? Now 5 konko be that too.
But if I no finish I get people for house we go shop waiting remain.
Okay, 1 konko, 2 konko, 3 konko.
Oga, no be 100 naira granite you won't buy. Why should you pack am plenty like this?
Now because of the 888.
Which one be 888?
You no 888 now the code for 5 times better awoof. Yes, so MTN awoof don't come again. Now, when you recharge with star 888 star pin hash, MTN go summer you with 5 times your recharge. You fit also enjoy this awoof on top VTU. Just ask your vendor for awoof for you. This offer now for both MTN prepaid and postpaid customers. Wait, add 888 now.
It is still sharing life issues, the Tuesday version with EVB. Evangelist B. That's his name. At least that's what we call him here. We are talking about intimate conversations to have before you say I do.
Yes.
This is not for samplers. For if you're a sampler, just keep moving. But to the issue today, we're talking about confessions. And telling about your past. And EVB was just talking about, you've been talking about some of the general notions and thoughts.
General foundations or principles before we go to specific. We just finished talking about how much should I tell, and I think we dealt with that. Another thing is when should I tell? You don't want to go everywhere telling everybody about, particularly for those of you who have a high turnover of relationships. You need to fix that. You fix that very well until when you are sure that this particular ship that you are in has a direction and the GPS is working. Sometimes it may not even necessarily be the final one. Why are you shaking your head? But because some of these relationships don't have GPS. There are a lot of people who are just lonely. They were lonely in November going to December. Now February 14 is near. They don't want to be lonely. They don't want to sleep alone. They don't want to travel alone. So they are looking for something. We're not talking to those kind of people. We're talking about people who have direction, who have a sense of purpose. So for those kind of people, I'll say that you want to wait until when there is a clear sense of commitment and you are getting to it, particularly for the deep ones. Or else in 4 years, you will just have like 5 guys around you knowing that you've had 3 abortions. I'm just saying. So you want to be sure that there is a measure of commitment before you do that. Then the next question is, what if it backfires? Well, let it be. If it does backfire in the sense that if the guy can assess it, you are telling somebody now, okay, I'm a sickler, this is what happened. Or somebody asks you, the last time we went for a family function, I could see you were not talking to your senior brother. Or you were trying to keep a distance with so family member. And that's purely because of what that person did in terms of abusing you or, incest attack and all that. You want to be sure that, okay, if you say it, if the person cannot deal with it, then let him have the opportunity to take a decision rather than you get married 18 months after the person now know. The other issue is, what if you don't get an answer? There are 2 ways to it. The person might still be sore about the issue and doesn't want to talk about it. But you see,
how long am I supposed to give you that?
But if I don't think that's the issue, but I would say that if you are such a person that you don't want to talk about it now, you gain confidence and trust by letting the person know that you are just still raw and you will talk about it later. That's reassuring, and that can also help to solidify the relationship. But the other way, it could just be pure deception. I don't want to talk about it, or may even be silent, or even lie or pretend. Then you need, if you have valid evidence or you have a reason to suspect that, don't ignore your internal feelings. So I think based on that now, we can now begin to take calls and messages on specifics on how to deal with this. If you've done this before, how you did it. If you don't want to use your real name, you can use your pseudonym. Because there are people who are watching now and they're at that junction, or they're listening now like, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? That's why I first gave this ground rules. Then we take it from there.
Okay, we're taking it from there. 0700-923-923-923. The number to call in the studio, 0700-923-923-923. Our WhatsApp number is 0817-313-6193. The number again is 0817-313-6193. Please do not call the WhatsApp number. Just send a WhatsApp message. But let me take another break. When I come back it's quick message from our sponsors. When we come back, I will be taking some calls, and then there's a matter that arose on Friday that I want to share with you, because it's only you that can handle this kind of matter. We'll be right back.
As a big boy who dreams big and has an appetite for big things, I need a network that serves a meal as big as my appetite. That's why I've got myself a 4G SIM. With just 1,000 naira, I get 3 gigabytes. That's big fuel for my hustle and enjoyment. No darling, oh. Get your 4G SIM and start enjoying super fast internet everywhere in Nigeria. Visit the nearest MTN outlet and buy your 4G SIM to enjoy super fast internet everywhere you go.
They say things are tough. They say succeeding here is difficult. What they say may be true, but together we will be challenged by it. Because we all know the truth is based on what you see, and what we see is the hunger for success. The defiant promise to never go back, no matter what. And when we stumble, we will only fall forward. Fueled by the prayers of our loved ones, the hopes of 200 million people, and the big yellow heart pumping energy into us to break boundaries. So let them continue to tell you their truth, while we take time to write ours. There's more within. Turn it up.
On sharing life issues, and especially when EVB is here, it's like matters just keep arising when we take a break.
Yeah.
The sharing life issues brought to you by MTN, and EVB is here. My name is Chiomabbb. Do not mistake the two, EVB and BBB. Okay. Good evening. I think you are omitting the possibility of either partner having had same-sex relationships in the past. EVB?
No, what I think the person is just trying to say here is somebody who had same-sex relationship and maybe is out of it now, and whether the person should tell the current spouse, particularly if they believe they will need some form of protection. And like I always say, if somebody had that issue before, it's the same thing as anybody who has issue with the opposite sex. That's why some husbands will not allow us girls. It's very easy to be woke and say, he can't control himself. He can't. But if you know your weaknesses and you want to do, there was something that went viral recently where, a man of God was saying something like, look, if you know you are having an attraction to somebody you employed, it's better for both of you to part ways. You understand? I say, what do you mean by that? You can't control yourself. I just know that there's nobody wants to use his money to buy himself pain.
True, fair.
And I have been in a situation where we got an house girl, and from the very first day I drove into the house and I saw the girl, I told my wife same time, this particular one has to go. And she wasn't the first, she wasn't the second. But I just knew that this one is second wife in the making. True life story. What is that your own? Why is that your own that loud?
The honesty.
No, but sometimes too, that story is not for today. My wife didn't listen to me and kept the girl around until when she now realized the hard way that what I was saying was correct. So that's it. So I think that's what the person is trying to say there. Some of these things, so when you say them, you're not also just saying it for the sake of having a clean slate. You are saying it also to protect yourself.
So you said this off the air and you're saying it again, and I really appreciate that you are. Sometimes we need protection from ourselves.
Yeah, because there's some ladies that will tell you things like, this your friend, this your friend, I know you like him, your bodies and all that, but I'm not comfortable around him. You can know if you know what your soft spots are.
So somebody said to me some time ago, said to me, Chioma, she's a lady, and she said, I have to stop myself from liking you. She actually said to me, if I am in the same house with you, if I sleep on your bed, I will touch you. I looked at her. She's still my friend. Yeah. But that I appreciated and respected the fact that she was upfront. Yes. Yeah. And I know that, okay, so there are lines to be drawn.
And that kind of person is the kind of person that would tell the husband to be, if she has opted that is what she wants. Because the line are really blurred now. Yeah. That's the kind of person that would, be upfront with her husband and say, look, this is the kind of challenge I tend to have. I would need you to watch out for me. And that's it. The same way, wives watch out for husbands, the same way husbands watch out for wives to protect them. There are people who have to pull out of a job. They have to pull out of a job all because of, look, on Inspire, most of the time, when we record testimonies of people who really lived wayward lives, we usually discover that when they were young, preteen, somebody abused them. There is a correlation. There is a direct correlation. It's incontrovertible, So, and that's why parents should wake up and protect. There was somebody I was mentoring recently who started telling me about the first person that made her to have an idea that a part of her body can release that kind of feeling was an house girl, and she's a woman. She's a lady. The first person that made her to feel like, oh, so that kind of sensation comes from that zone was their house girl.
A house girl.
And she didn't get to tell her parents until when she had entered the uni. When she started struggling with a lot of other stuff, masturbation, and that seed was sown. And I know there are a lot of guys who also
same thing, yes. There was a whole Twitter conversation about it at one time when men were just talking about how they were.
So I think part of this discussion also helps to protect people from
themselves, really.
From also avoiding some of these things. So if they don't exist, you don't have to discuss it. If they don't exist, you don't have to discuss it.
Blazing Zion Queen says, EVB, thank you. I did enjoy your teaching. I'm a learner. Our official workaholic says, EVB, too much sense is worrying you. Touching deep points since 1960.
Thank you so much.
Oh, over here, someone says, good evening, Chioma. So how do you deal with marriage where just after marriage, wife says she can't be cooking because she's a career woman, won't follow the man to church, and is always traveling for work? These are things that were hidden during dating. Now I feel like quitting. It's Idi Amin. These are why this conversation should be had now.
I disagree with hidden during dating. I'm sure the signs are there, because this looks to me like this is who she is. This is who she wants to be. Well, and at this junction, she also doesn't care about what happens. So, and that's also why we're doing this. But having said that, Idi Amin, I don't think you should quit yet. Try and continue. No, he has to try and continue to the discussion they should have had pre-marriage. Now they will have it now. They have to now sit down and negotiate. So what that also means is, Idi Amin too, we have to step down
on certain things.
He has to find a balance, particularly if bottom line they love one another.
Idi Amin, I hope you're listening. Someone says, the best thing is to bear it all. Before we got married, my husband and I bared everything. My husband and I bared everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. In all our fights and quarrels, no one has ever made reference to it.
That's good.
It rather created a friendship bond between us, to the extent a counselor once asked how we managed to share virtually everything. It is good to tell it all. This is Ify on the road. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ify. And there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. And you see, this will also help their communication. Because, look, there's nothing else you want to hear about me outside. There is nothing else she wants to hear about her. They've said it. So now, these are the kind of couples, I guess, and if you're listening, you might agree with me or not, but these are the kind of couples where the husband can come home and say, come here. You see that lady in church that is kinikon, the way she's doing it, I don't like her. You know, that kind of thing. And the wife will look for practical ways to help him. Those are the kind of relations. That's how a marriage should be. But when you can't speak, you can't talk. If you talk, you will be judged. Or you talk A they will already assume B, C, D to Z. Then people keep quiet. Then they are suffering in silence.
It is Sharing Life Issues brought to you by MTN, and EVB is here pouring hot water, but importantly so that we can bleach out all the bad things.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back from that break, don't worry, I won't be going on another break in a while. So we'll be right back. Stay put.
Them talk say I wolf the run belle, but today I don't see the one where they run out. Are you getting me? Now you're going MTN I wolf for you, where they give people 5 times any recharge from 100 naira and above. Once you recharge with star 888 star pin hash, you get. Now be say if you recharge 100 naira, you go get 500 naira. If you recharge 1,000 naira, now 5,000 naira be that oh. You don't feel me so? And you use your calling network. No more kotu G's say you don't get credit. With MTN I wolf for you, your G's go just the flow. It makes sense, Abi. Just star 888 star pin hash to enjoy this awoof. This offer now for both MTN prepaid and postpaid customers. You fit also enjoy them for on top VTU. Just ask your vendor for awoof for you. Are you getting me?
It is still Sharing Life Issues brought to you by MTN. 0700-923-923-923 is the number to call us in the studio. 0700-923-923-923. On WhatsApp is 0817-313-6193. Anonymous says, good evening, Chiomabbb and EVB. As regards the discussion on ground, years back, I was dating a guy and I had an experience with 419ers.
Okay.
Then something happened which I told him about, the way he reacted. So in the course of it, I felt sick and almost gone.
Yeah.
Then I just quit and moved on.
Yeah.
After some years, he keeps calling me, asking I forgive him, and he started talking about marriage. It is over 17 years and it really affected me.
Well, I don't know if you just want to give us the information.
It's about
or what I'm saying is I don't know what the intent of the message is. You get the logic. Whether she just want to, because there are two things here. The first thing is the fact that I guess an experience with 419ers, I don't know whether it is monetary or physical.
And she shared with him and
she
turned him off.
Clearly she shared with him and they turned the guy off. But you see, she fell sick because of that and she almost died. Then she moved on. Now, if the issue is whether you can forgive him or not, you are the only person the only person that can answer that. You are the only person, because we don't know. 17 years is a long time. We don't know where he is at. We don't know where you are at. But do not, just because you are still available, consider and don't just use that. Go back to basics. The current him may not be the old him. Both ways.
Let me take a call. If you get through to us, turn down the volume of your radio. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening, ma. What's your name?
I will have to call back.
Okay, cool. Call me back. I can hear your phone ringing.
So you could see, I guess, right.
In the course of it, that's the 419 situation.
I guess right.
And that is something that he could not handle. So in principle, I can't judge him. And the fact that he's calling back, he's grown. Maybe he's grown. He's more matured. And he now maybe saw that there is more to her than just that event. Just in case you're trying to understand, the 419 situation was included her getting
and
raped.
She updated it.
Yes. Okay, let's take a call. Hello, good evening. Now, wow. They will not do pum pum for you too. Call me back, 0700-923-923-923. Good evening. Let me take a call.
No problem.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
What's your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Papa Lubin.
Okay, thank you for calling. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ajalelo.
Okay, so turn down the volume of your radio and then go ahead and ask EVB what you want to.
Or let's have your contribution.
Okay. So my contribution is just simple. I think the evangelist has said it all. Yeah, when you've been into a relationship, and I appreciate the fact that he has clarified it. We're not talking about people that want to sample now.
Yes.
We're talking about people that are very serious.
Yes.
And it's not just being serious now. It's a matter of, do you want to be last in marriage?
Okay.
That's the big question.
That's the GPS.
To marry for just have a baby.
Direction.
Mama baby died. If you want to be last in marriage, there is nothing that should be left unaltered. Everything has to be spilled out. Everything. That's how we gain trust and confidence.
Thank you.
Because marriage is a classroom. That journey is forever, not for 10 years. So that's my concern. When I want to get married, me and my wife, we sat down, we trash things out. Both the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's good.
And we're not regretting it now.
Okay.
Thank God.
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
Thank you for sharing with us.
I'm glad we're getting these responses, because initially it will look like it's impossible or it should not be done. But the truth of the matter is, these are practical experiences. It doesn't make it easier. It doesn't deny the fact that some of them could be
A hard process.
but like the other lady, he couldn't process it. It's better. What if he now knows after marriage?
And then he's judging you the whole time.
Yeah, what if he now knows after marriage? People, marriages can really get messed up because of that.
So you can come out like fine wine on the other end when you work hard through it. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Tony. I'm calling from Maryland.
Tony from Maryland. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, please.
Please go ahead.
Okay, good. Today's discussion, I believe, it's about how much should we disclose
Yes.
to your partner. Yeah, good. So, in my opinion, it depends on the partner you're dealing with. Not everybody handles information in the same way.
Okay.
So, you should be able to assess your partner and decide how much information you should give. Because I've had an experience where my spouse, I gave her certain information about something, and it haunted me for a long time.
Okay.
So I've realized, okay, I shouldn't make a similar mistake. So I could give information up to a point, and that's it. And that way it has worked out.
Okay.
So that's just the summary. You determine the person you are with and what would work best, because not everybody processes information the same way.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's valid. I think that goes to the first foundation that I established about how much do you say. And you know what I said was, you say enough to the level where even if the person hears more than that, it's not going to disrupt anything. And I think basically that's what he's saying, but in another way.
I'm going to rush through messages and calls. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Chiomabbb.
Good evening, sir.
Hi.
Yeah, EVB, good evening, sir.
Evening, sir.
I'm going to take it off from where the last caller said. Now, in marriage, God said we are both open and we can't keep any secrets to one another, right?
Yes.
And two shall become one.
Yes.
Now, I've shared certain secrets with my wife, and sometimes when we have issues, she brings it up to get at me. But you know what? I told her that I have to build up my emotions to the extent that I told her that whatever you say to me, you are saying it to yourself too. So if you go all out to disgrace me, you are disgracing yourself. And people will laugh at you. So I've been able to cover up that I have to tell you this. You are my best friend. And you have to deal with it for me. So, you know, at the point she has to come up and be my best friend too. Whatever I tell her, she rather tell me, oh, I've forgiven you, or maybe something she's not aware. She has to tell me that, well, we have to live with it and we deal with it together.
Okay.
So I don't think that we should. Because let me tell you something, there's no how. There are times you'll be so excited, and out of excitement, you share.
Yes.
And she'll keep it with you that, okay, this is your wife, there's no how. I've realized there's no how you hide it for life. There's no how. So it's better I lay all the cards on the table. I'm bad and I'm bad. I wasn't bad, but now no, I'm not bad anymore.
Even if you hide it, there's a way nature tends to bring it back to the other person. It's a very small world. It's a very small. She will change job. Somebody will meet somebody in a new church or at a fellowship or at Zumba. Is it Zumba they call that dance? You know?
Yes.
You understand? So you just thank you very much.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Take care.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Charles. Okay. My phone is ringing, but
Let's take the call.
Okay.
Let's take the call.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Who are we speaking with?
Okay, I'd like to remain anonymous.
Let's call you John. Go ahead, John.
Okay, call me John. John is calling from Ejiko.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
I quickly like to share this. The way it actually works, it's way different.
Okay.
I met my wife, and I loved her in school when I met her. And as of then, she's on her finals and even preparing to write her master's immediately after she graduates.
Okay.
But I've already lost it in school. I'm out of school.
Okay.
She told me, young man, you think we are really, things can really work between us? What are your plans? She asked.
Okay.
I said, of course, I want to go back to school. I want to get some things done. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
She agreed, and we started this courtship, and we were moving on and on and on and on.
Okay.
And of course, this time came. When I was graduating from school, she's already doing fine.
Okay. In terms of work, you mean?
Yeah, in terms of work.
Okay. So what happened next?
Well, okay, can we just proceed and take this to the next level? We are not going any younger. We're taking time to know each other, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went ahead. I got a job immediately after service for 50,000 naira. I'm talking about 6 years ago.
Yes.
Okay.
And as at that point, I'm talking about 6 years ago, I got a job for
6,000
naira.
Yes.
Okay. Then, as at then, she was getting 150 where she worked.
Yes.
We went into the wedding, whatever, paparazzi, and the marriage started for real.
Yes.
Of course, during the course of our first, second, third year, I can confirm was when I really got to know who I'm settling with.
Okay.
Because as at that point now, we're starting to do almost everything together.
Okay.
Then I'm getting to know many things even about her.
Okay.
But why am I sharing this? As of today, I am like 150% salary higher than her.
Okay.
Because I was able to do some online training courses.
Yeah.
I went for a weekend master program.
I'm sorry, I'm going to wrap you up really quickly. So just get to the point, please.
Okay, so now today, she is like happy that I was able to come through to her about my situation.
Okay.
And I told her what I want to do, and it worked out for me.
Okay. All right.
So a lot of things that destroy relationship or marriages or whatever today is that from the basics, nobody tells each other
the truth.
You don't share your vision. You don't share your purpose.
And eventually rush out.
Thank you.
And even many, I'm a young guy, but many of the youth out there today doesn't even have plans.
Okay, that's correct. That's valid. Which we have also dealt with a lot on this show. Thank you so much, John, right? That's the name we gave you.
Yes, John. That's our working title. Good evening. Tuesdays are always my best days on sharing life issues. Truth be told, telling your partner the whole truth is very hard, but it's very necessary, and it will save a lot. But I want to ask a question. EVP, can you tell your friend that you saw his girlfriend, his wife, girlfriend in a hotel with a man?
What does that mean?
Because
the girlfriend of the wife?
Wife.
Explain that.
Wife to be.
In an hotel with another man. Can you tell your
Because
friend?
I stumbled into one during my visit to Niger last Yuletide. Secondly, when is the right time to tell your wife that one of her friends is hitting on you?
Okay, the first one is, what did you see? You can't.
Did you see them in a controversial situation?
You can't just be reporting people because you saw them in an hotel. I mean, you can't just be. That's my take for matured minds. I mean, for one, there are times I travel to minister outside, base, and people in that zone that I've known come to check on me. Yeah. So if you go and report them, but you see, the point is, it's also a function of, even if you do that, if the girlfriend doesn't have any skeleton in her cupboard, fine. But if the friend is your real paddy, and you really, it looks like this is not right based on what you saw. I for one, I'm not a Twitter age person. If your friend, I'll tell him. No, I won't tell him like I'm reporting. I'll tell him that I saw so. I'll just give him the data. Let him fix it. Let him deal with it. I saw so. I was at Intercontinental the other day. I was at Sheraton, and I saw so person, and he saying she went to visit someone. In fact, what I would do is I would go to her and greet her.
So she will know that you saw her.
Yes, now then I will now tell him that I saw her. So let them now figure out the Abby. Is that not common sense? I'll go and visit. No, I will greet.
I want to rush the next rush. When is the right time to tell your wife that one of her friends?
There is no right time to take that one. No. So if you want to protect yourself, but there is no.
What should you do?
You tell. You speak
at
out.
the beginning from when
immediately now. Eating on you, bawo. Ogini.
Okay, my great table shaker.
Eating bawo. Wife's friend. Eating. You tell her right away to warn your friend, though. Warn your friend.
I don't like this kind of.
Like this kind of thing that she's doing.
Okay, someone says, "Thank God, thanks for the good work. It's good to tell it all. My husband and I ran into one of my ex. I reintroduced my husband to my ex. No issues. We both laughed about it. Met some of his exes too. All for laughs. Anonymous. We've been married for 13 years now. No regrets. Thank you. I may have forgotten him. Oh,
the other lady.
Okay, the lady who was talking about the 419ers and the situation says, I may have forgiven him, but I can't see myself marrying him. It really affected my relationship with the opposite sex. But it took my elder brother's intervention to change that mindset.
Fine, then tell him. What you do now is you tell him right there and then that you've forgiven him, so he doesn't keep carrying.
But that you're not interested.
But you are not interested. Then that's it. And also so that he can move on. What I suspect, he might have found himself in different relationships that is not working out. He might even go somewhere and they will see a vision and say there is somebody you left somewhere. So tell him so that he can fix it. What's funny?
I'm going to read this very quickly. Someone says, I read a novel where the lady was a prostitute and a porn star before she became born again. New pastor found her attractive and it was mutual. A competitor for the pastor's attention for her own daughter started digging. She told the pastor one day the lady wanted to tell the... What? On the day the lady wanted to tell the pastor. To make matters worse, she had been a mistress to the pastor's uncle who was a deacon who also wanted her back but didn't want to.
This one is complex.
My sister.
This one is
hard. It's hard. I actually want to talk about something that in the next maybe 5-10 minutes. On Friday, I was talking about sibling rivalry. How bad can it get? Because someone said I wanted to poison my own brother. Because he did, he was the favoritism when I was growing up.
Yeah.
At some point in time, I thought about poisoning him. And it was a very sore wound to open because a lot of people shared some of the ill feelings that they have been, holding
while they were growing
with their
up
siblings.
Because of,
But as I was about to leave, somebody sent a message that I literally had to screen grab and put somewhere so I didn't forget. The lady said, how do you forgive an uncle that raped your younger sister because he's stronger than her?
It's not the rape is not necessarily a function of strength. Every uncle is in a position of power. Most rapes succeed because you have power, whether physical power or any other power. Any other power. I mean, you have a staff you've been eating on, and she can't leave the job because she's not gotten another job.
Yeah.
So that is the real issue in that. Now, the issue is this. How do you forgive an uncle? It didn't even happen to her. It happened to your younger sister.
So
sometimes this younger sister may even have moved on.
But you haven't.
You haven't.
You are aware
so
of it.
There's no shortcut. You forgive by forgiving. Forgiveness does not have a syllabus. Forgiveness is not even a function of the person apologizing to you. And in this case, if the person wants to apologize, the apology he owes in principle is to the person he raped, not to you. So you can't continue forever. You have to get to a level where you know that you cannot continue to take paracetamol for somebody else's headache. So how do you forgive? You forgive. You choose. It's a choice. So, forgiveness is always a choice.
So I'm going to move this conversation into the whole I want to get married to someone setting.
Yeah.
If she has held this bitterness for so long, she might be feeling a certain way where men are concerned or where family members are concerned.
Yeah.
Now, in the case of telling, should I tell my husband if I was in that case?
Okay.
Should she tell?
Let me give you an example.
Yes.
An example that I know, real time. I mean, a live one. A young woman, a teenager, traveled with our mom to visit an in-law. The in-law, the sister the auntie is the junior sister of our mom.
Okay.
So they got to the house, and in the night, one way or the other, the husband, the brother-in-law of our mom, raped her. And nobody knew for a very long time. Of course, somewhere along the line, this young woman got wayward. Abuses usually mess up people.
Yes.
So I would like to also use this to talk to men or women who are busy abusing younger ones. You are not just having a fun, you are destroying a destiny. So fix yourself. Now, it was much later, during therapy with someone else, that it was traced that was the source. That was when it became a big issue. But the point is, this guy and the wife had to sit the daughter down, take care of the daughter, led her to the process of forgiving the guy. But you see, the point is, for a very long time, when they still meet at family events, it's very awkward. So that is part of the reason why those kind of things need to be said. Because it's a big family, 8 children on both sides. So they would meet. So
that conversation needs to be had up front.
One way or the other. But you see, the beauty is this. That conversation will only be difficult if the lady is still not yet healed and has not forgiven. If you are genuinely healed, Chioma, and you are forgiven, you move on. And it won't be a big deal to have such conversations. See, somebody said earlier that it's not a big deal. I introduced him to my ex. You have stories with your ex. You have different stories with your ex.
With each ex.
So what I usually tend to, I'm more scared. Look, I'm not scared of economic setbacks. I'm not scared of business setbacks as much as I'm scared of emotional setbacks.
True.
When things happen emotionally, it destroys people. And when people even look like they're good and everything is rolling on, and they're sometimes in their future, these things just show up.
Yeah. The trauma of the past, PTSD, shows up and then just destroys
and destroys things. And some of these people that we are hearing killing husbands, killing wives,
they're coming from somewhere
due to somebody cheating. Some of these people are abused, but nobody hear that in the court. Nobody will hear that in the court. So I think that's very, very important.
I want to read this last message before we do like a quick wrap up. Yeah. Good evening. In a situation where your spouse-to-be tells you that he or she is X years by age before marriage, whereas he or she is actually 8 to 10 years older.
Yeah.
What's your counsel, sir? Is it enough reason to leave the marriage?
No. Simple answer is not. But I agree that you are hot, you are angry. Because why do I say that? If you actually agree to marry him on the premise of the other things about him.
Or her.
Or her. Every other thing about him or her. Temperament, behavior, the way they treat you, responsibility, keeping it clean, they don't misbehave. If all those things were there and they're still there, and that is him in front of you, or that is her in front of you, and it's still him or her, yeah, this is deceptive. Yes, agreed.
Very.
It's deceptive, yeah. But a lot of other things too are also deceptive apart from age numbers. And people also sometimes have issues for doing this. Part of it also is because sometimes nobody wants to marry their dad. If somebody says he's your age mate before and out of the blues he's 10 years older than you, you're getting married to your dad.
But technically though, not so check this out, EVB, you just said that.
No, but it's not enough reason. She also made life easy for me. Enough reason. It's not enough reason to walk away. That's why I gave that scenario. She helped me. If it's to you, sweetheart, I know you're hot, but life happens.
Has the person lost any other value?
But if the person is now hitting on you, the person is now trying to enter the pants of your junior sister, then we can
That's
begin
a
to
different
talk.
conversation.
We can now begin to talk
If
about
it be this thing you
sentiments.
just said now, I mean, I just remembered a friend of mine was going to get married, and she was touting that she was years younger than she actually was, because she was too afraid that he would look at her less if
people think she's older than she is.
Yes.
But I think that's even much more dangerous. Any lady who wants to play that prank, that's much more dangerous, because you know why? Men have more ego. Men's ego are ridiculous. There's some men that have vowed that they will never marry a woman that
of
is
a certain
older.
age.
And the same thing with women. I will never marry a man that is younger. It's like a vow. So those people will not even have the presence of mind to be asking EVB if it is enough reason. They've left.
So if this is a guy, Inko?
No, if it's a guy that the lady is 8 or 10 years younger, most likely he would have known. This one will be Rachel factor now.
If this
10
is
years late, 10 years older.
If, for instance,
10 years older for woman.
I want to say,
you don't know now.
No, you feel not know. If it be, some people get very young blood.
But in that way too, I don't think in principle it is enough reason.
But it's not enough reason.
It's not enough reason.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, it's a bigger risk because of the temperamental makeup of men and women.
So I want to take, again, I just want to assume. We have dealt with it from the female aspect. Time not day. In 30 seconds, but I want to assume that this is a guy. How do you get him to begin to let go of that?
There is no way to let go of anything. Once you're offended, you have to just forgive.
Allow
It's
yourself
tough.
heal.
You have to forgive and let time heal you. Because once you choose forgiveness, time will now start its work. But when you do not choose forgiveness, time will not heal jazz.
If it be, how can they reach you on social media? We have to run.
Okay, fine. We'll run and run well. We'll run
Social
and
media.
well. You can get me on Instagram, Banji Adesanmi, or Evangelist B, official Evangelist BEE.
So at official Evangelist BEE.
or Banji Adesanmi. On Twitter and Facebook, Evangelist BEE. You will get me or my name, any of them.
And of course, I have to tell you that EVB has this TV show that's called Inspire. It's spelled INSPAYA. Yes, that's it. If you could, what's the website, or how can people check that out?
Well, it's on TV.
Okay.
It's on TV every weekend. Dove TV, 2:30 p.m. on Saturdays. Lagos Television, 7 p.m. on Sundays.
And he shares really inspiring stories. That's why it's called Inspire, literally. He shares stories of people who have been through so much and have come out, finally.
And they overcame.
Yes, they overcame. That's the show for you today. Thank you very much for listening. I'm glad you listened. I hope you learned a thing or two, or at least this has helped you going forward. I'm taking records. I'm just taking all this information because I'm gonna need it. I will need it soon. Okay, but we'll do this again tomorrow. I will be here with you on Sharing Life Issues tomorrow. It's at Chiomabbb. Please follow me. I need followers in my life on Instagram and on Twitter. At Chiomabbb on Instagram. At Chiomabbb on Twitter. Big, bold, beautiful. So BBB. And of course at IFM 92.3. At IFM 92.3. God bless you. Stay out of trouble. Bye-bye.
Lassa fever might be closer than we think. This infection caused by rodents that carry the disease have very dire effects and can not only harm you, but everyone around you. If you're experiencing headaches, fever, diarrhea, stomach pains, or cough, you may be affected by Lassa fever and you need to see a doctor immediately. You can prevent Lassa fever. Keep a clean environment at all times and make sure to properly store your food. Always ensure garbage is properly disposed of and that your surrounding areas are clean at all times. Don't be afraid to lend a helping hand to your neighbor or members of your community in helping them clean up their environment as well. We can prevent Lassa fever. We can prevent it together.
This message is brought to you by your number one family radio, Inspiration 92.3 FM.